Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
I'm ready for the event.
ABC, this is Mission Control, Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, David Curley, ABC News. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, David.
Good to chat again with you, Scott. Commander Kelly, are you ready to come home?
You know, I'm ready to come home. I'm not. It's not like I'm climbing the walls or anything to get out of here. You know, I recognize the importance of what we're doing on the space station, and you know, I feel like it's a privilege. But at the same time, I've been up here for a really long time, and it'll be great to get back to Earth.
Long-duration flight. This was all about seeing whether humans can go to Mars. I know we don't have all the data, but can we make it to Mars? Can you do it? Could another human do it?
You know, there are some challenges, but, you know, I think everything we've done in space proves that we can overcome challenges. Part of the reason being up here for a year was looking at the effects on our physiology. And like you said, there is still data to be analyzed. But from a, you know, subjective perspective, I think absolutely I feel great. But, you know, there are challenges, especially with radiation between the Earth and Mars that we need to work on overcoming. But it's something that I hope to see in my lifetime.
You may have just answered this question, but we talked in Houston before you left about the radiation, about what long-duration flight can do to your body. I think I asked you, it can mess you up. Did it mess you up? Do you know yet?
You know, there's things that I notice, and of the things I notice, they're, you know, mostly, you know, all good, you know, but there are the things you can't see, like bone loss and the effects of radiation on you at a genetic level. And that's something, you know, we might not know about for years to come, how long-term that amount of radiation has affected me. But you know, subjectively, I feel great, and I think it's something that going to Mars and you know, having people stay in space for much longer than we have before is clearly doable.
We talked with you and your brother in the twin study in Houston, tracking his body and your body during your time in space. At the time, I said I thought that Mark had the easy part. You said you had the fun part. How's it worked out?
This is hard. You know, space is hard. Living up here is it's a you know, it's a tough environment. You're at work all the time. You never leave. You can never go outside. Although the work is important and challenging, it is you know, very similar, you know, day after day for a really long time. But I wouldn't trade places with him for anything. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's you know, been a great challenge, and it's the thing I like about flying in space is that this stuff is hard, and it's the you know, the sense of satisfaction you get from being doing a good job and being successful.
Lightning round. When you get home, bare feet in grass or sand?
I think grass would be my first choice. But I'll be in Kazakhstan, so, you know, it might have to be sand.
Or dust. You took a lot of pictures, some amazing photographs. What place on Earth have you seen from space that you've not been to, do you want to get to and visit when you come home?
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful places, and it's really hard to pick one out, but you know, the area on the other side of the Himalayas from, you know, India and Pakistan in the, you know, on the northeastern side is incredibly remote looking and desolate, but at the same time beautiful. So I think if I had to choose one place, I would go up in the foothills there on the, you know, on the northeastern side of the Himalayas.
Pizza or filet mignon?
You know, that's an interesting question. Obviously, filet mignon, or not obviously, but that's what I would choose. But you don't really miss food that much. At least I miss the experience more of, sitting at a table with friends and family than I do actually, all the different types of food that I've missed up here.
And finally, you told me you were going to hit a wall. You knew you would hit a wall. Did you hit that wall? How did you get through it? And how did you feel about getting through it? What got you through it?
Yeah, I was fortunate that I had been up here before for 159 days, and I think I knew myself pretty well and what it would take me with regards to like having a good pace and support from people on the ground. That I really haven't hit a wall yet. I wanted to get the end of this with as much energy and enthusiasm that I had at the beginning, and that's kind of how I still feel. So if I don't hit the wall in the next 7 days, I think I'm home free.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the ABC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CBS.
Commander, CBSN New York. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the space station.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Stand by. Somebody will be getting started shortly.
Commander Kelly, thanks so much for doing this again with us. We so appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We'll get started in just a few seconds.
Stand by, Vlad. Here we go.
Okay, ready on prompt.
Is posture good? Great, too.
Astronaut Scott Kelly holds the record for the longest consecutive amount of time spent in space by an American. He'll be returning to Earth next week. It is an honor to welcome back Commander Scott Kelly to CBSN. Commander, let me first ask you, what are you most excited to do when you get back home?
Yeah, the first thing is just being around the people that you miss and that are important to you and spending time with them. After that, and I think I might jump in my pool or take a shower.
But I've read in interviews that you're not really climbing the walls to leave space. So what will you miss most about being up there?
I'm a big believer in what we're doing here. I believe in the importance of flying in space and, the research we do. I believe in exploration. And I will miss being on the front lines of that endeavor, I guess. And, on the one hand, I look forward to going home, but it's something that has been a big part of my life, and I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, we're certainly going to miss you up there. Part of what NASA was hoping to do is to run some tests on the human body while your brother Mark Kelly is on the ground and you're up in the air. So how many tests do you have to do on a daily basis? How many fluid samples do you have to submit? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, describe the intensity of the tests.
It varies from day to day, and like today, as an example, which is a big day for those kind of samples, I took my own blood, stuck the needle in my own arm, which we do. It kind of saves crew time. It's actually easier. I did, 8 blood tubes. I've been collecting my urine all day and saliva in the morning. On other days, we might do ultrasound exams. Psychological tests, so it varies depending on what week, what month.
A lot of people may not know that you, as well as your brother, were naval fighter pilots. I had a chance to fly with the Blue Angels recently, which was a thrill of my life. And when we went vertical, I've never had a feeling like that. Describe what it was like for you in a Tomcat or Hornet versus going into space.
The F-14 that I flew the F-18 a little bit, but mostly the F-14. It was an amazing airplane. I really miss flying it. flying in space and, riding a rocket into space and coming back to Earth is kind of an extension of that. It's a, kind of like an order of magnitude more extreme, but you don't get to do it very often, unlike, when I was younger flying those airplanes.
That's pretty cool. All right, so we all saw this crazy video of you in the gorilla suit. We think it's you in the gorilla suit. So two things. Did your brother put you up to it, and you actually packed a gorilla suit in your gear, which is incredible.
It's interesting when you vacuum pack something, it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. And, it was his idea, but, I embraced it because, for one, when you try to get kids' attention and teach them about science and math and engineering and things like that, the first thing you have to do is get their attention. And nothing gets people's attention like a gorilla in space. So I think it's going to be I think I'm going to use that video for a long time to come with kids.
Well, you had the Benny Hill music, which was awesome. And in fact, to that point, my nephews, Gabriel and Oliver, are huge fans, especially after seeing that video, so that message resonates with them. All right. Commander Scott Kelly aboard the International Space Station. Thank you very, very much, sir. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you back on Earth.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you there.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the CBS portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CNN.
Thank you. Station, this is CNN. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, Sanjay.
I don't hear anything, guys. Sorry. Sorry, station. Station, trying again. Station,
how about now?
CNN. How do you hear me? Okay.
I hear you loud
Kelly,
and clear.
Commander, what a thrill to be speaking to you again. Thank you. You look well. You look about the same as I saw you last week. I know there's a lot of preparation, a lot of excitement about your return home, and I've been doing a lot of reading on all that's involved, coordination-wise on the International Space Station and all the preparation you have to take. Can you talk to me a little bit about what the next few days hold in terms of planning your landing back on Earth?
So yesterday we did a fit check. We got in our Sokol Soyuz pressure suits, and we got in the Soyuz and we checked them to make sure that they were still going to protect us if we needed to use them. We have some kind of like on-orbit training about that covers the descent procedures. So we're refreshed with those. We talked to the specialists on the ground about the whole operation from the time we close the hatch until we get pulled out of the Soyuz. I'm spending a lot of time packing items to return. There's not a lot of volume in the Soyuz, but we do have a lot of small items we return. So it's a pretty busy time. It's important, clearly, when you're coming back from space, that we get everything right.
I know you're a veteran, sir, at doing this, but a couple questions. Just I guess mentally, psychologically, is this a nerve-wracking time for you? And also, you get to take some things back. You've been up there for a year. I know there's not a lot of room, but are there souvenirs, things that have become meaningful to you that you're going to take back?
So, leaving this amazing facility is going to be tough because I'll probably never see it again, and I don't expect I will. I've flown in space 4 times now, and so it's going to be hard in that respect. But I certainly look forward to going back to Earth. I've been up here for a really long time, and sometimes when I think about it, I feel like I've lived my whole life up here. And we do have the ability to bring stuff back. Generally, we can bring about 1.5 kilograms of stuff on the Soyuz that are personal items, in some cases things that people have given us. For me, most of the stuff I bring on the Soyuz is home is the stuff that flew up with me on the Soyuz. And then we get to bring some items back on SpaceX. We actually return garbage on the SpaceX, too. So, we got to get rid of the stuff on the space station somehow. So we do have a pretty significant capability to bring back stuff on SpaceX that you might not imagine.
And psychologically, again, sir, when you're thinking about this landing, again, it's one of, obviously, there's a lot of things that are going on at the same time, both from your perspective as well as the entire mission's perspective. Mentally, psychologically, how are you doing as you start to think about that and get into that mind space?
You do think about the fact that, like, I'm looking down at the Earth right now, and it's 250 miles below me, and only a small portion of that is the atmosphere. And when that Soyuz hits that atmosphere, going 17,500 miles an hour, a lot of things have to happen just right, to make sure that we touch down in that parachute safely. So, when you look at that big space between us and the speed involved, it's pretty serious, and it's something that you definitely think about and consider. But, this is my second time flying the Soyuz, and, my fourth time flying in space, and, it's something I signed up to do, and we'll be ready for it next Tuesday.
Well, we wish you luck with that. Sir, you just mentioned you're looking down at Earth, and again, that view is the most spectacular view, and I've seen your pictures. There's a drought situation happening in many places around the world, as you may know. And I'm just curious, the aquifers of water are starting to get depleted. Are you able to get a certain perspective from where you are on what's happening with water on our planet, here on Earth?
This past summer, definitely there were, you could notice, the drought in California clearly, and the fires. Other parts of the world, I didn't really pay too much attention to, depleting water levels there. But you do mention the environment. And today we had this incredible pass over the Himalayas, and to just see all that pollution that's just kind of like riding up against those mountains from the south is just really, really, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that, and to see that all the time, just kind of sitting there, on the whole, most of the Indian subcontinent there, but just how it sits up against those mountains is, it's really, it's tough to see.
Yeah. Just final question, a little bit of a fun one. Did you get a chance to see The Martian while you're up there? The movie?
Yeah, we did watch The Martian. Yeah, we watched The Martian. It was, it was great watching it up here. There were a lot of parallels with that movie to living in space for a long period of time, including, growing things, in an extreme environment, which we recently finished up doing.
Sir, a pleasure. Good luck. We'll be thinking about you. See you back here on Earth.
Great talking to you, Sanjay. Thank you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the CNN portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Fox.
Station, this is Fox. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the space station.
Scott, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. So, first of all, you are now holding the title for the longest American and this spending time this long in space. I want to ask you, how do you feel on this last leg of your journey?
I actually feel pretty good. And, on one hand, I look forward to getting back to Earth. There's a lot of great stuff down there that I miss, and. But, at the same time, I'm going to miss the space station. I still have, a good amount of energy to continue to do my job, which is my goal going into this. So, I have mixed feelings, but definitely looking forward to getting back to Earth.
everybody asks what you are looking forward to the most, but I've watched some of your videos, and I know you said actually you like your sleeping arrangements a little bit better in space than you do at home. So I want to ask you, what are you going to miss being up in zero gravity and being up in space?
The stuff that I'm going to miss is doing working on a project, working on things that I really believe in. I believe very strongly in something that's very, very important, and working, kind of on the tip of the spear, so to speak, as the person that's operating the space station and performing these experiments. Living in an environment like this is very, very difficult, very challenging, and then being successful. With that and the sense of satisfaction you get. And, I think I'm going to miss that. I'm still going to obviously be involved in the space program when I get back, but that's the part I'm going to miss.
Can you explain to us the science behind some of the tests that will be conducted, obviously comparing you with your brother, and what tests have already taken place over the past 11 months?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different studies that involve me and Mark, and that's one part of the larger science program of 400 different science experiments we have going on while I'm up here. But through the course of this whole year, actually even before I launched, I've done I don't know how many CAT scans, MRIs, bone scans of various types. We do ultrasounds up here. We're measuring our bone density. Changes to my muscles, including my heart, vessels, in my body, effects of radiation on Mark and I on a genetic level, psychological tests. So a whole battery of different kinds of science. And, those tests will continue well after I get home.
Yeah, if you could elaborate a little bit more on the psychological. You have a family at home. How has this year been for you to be apart from them?
Oh, it's tough. When you have, you have a family. All families, at times will have issues where they, could use your help and your presence and in person and not just on the phone. So. There have been times that have been challenging. My last flight was, even more challenging when my sister-in-law, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, was shot while I was up here and still had 2 months to go. So, it can be tough at times, but we've worked together at it. And, I've supported them as best as I could, and they supported me. And here we are with a week left.
Yeah, we remember you coming home from that mission. So I do want to bring up another experiment. You do have a space garden. A lot of us have been watching you on Instagram and watching you on Twitter. I want to get an update from you on how that's going. I know you also tried to grow some lettuce over the summer. So how is your garden going?
Well, the lettuce we harvested, oh man, it seems like it was a lifetime ago. We harvested that lettuce. I don't even remember what month that was, but it was a long time ago. And the flowers that we grew, we wanted to grow some flowering plants up here to, demonstrate our ability to do that. And we grew zinnias that had some issues at first, but I was able to get them back in good shape. But we recently harvested them as well, and I did that on Valentine's Day and took some pictures of the flowers. But we're going to have some more. I'm not sure when, but we're going to have some more stuff growing up here and, stuff that we can, like the lettuce, hopefully consume and learn more about growing things in space.
All right, we only have about 10 seconds left, so my last question to you is what's going to be your first meal?
Wow. The food is not as important as you would think. It's more the experience of being with the people. And so I haven't given that much thought, believe it or not.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Scott. We really appreciate it.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the Fox portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from NBC.
Space Station, this is NBC News. How do you copy?
I have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard.
All right. Well, Scott, first of all, a belated happy birthday. How did you celebrate your birthday in space?
You know, it was Sunday, which is a rest day for us, and we really didn't do any much celebrating at all. I talked with, actually had a few family conferences, video conferences, but other than that, it was kind of a normal weekend day.
When the two of us talked, I think you were about 2 months into the mission back in June. You said you were counting up, not counting down. Now that you're very close, has your thinking changed a little bit?
Yeah, it has. I did a pretty good job of counting up, and I think it was a good strategy. And I started counting down when we got to 10 days left, which was a few days ago. So I didn't make it to the end counting up, but I got close.
I know there's a lot of focus right now on the things that you have missed, the things you're looking forward to. But before I get to that, are you a bit nostalgic as your time in space is nearing an end?
Absolutely. You know, it's bittersweet. I'm a big believer in NASA and what we do and the science we do up here. And, you know, just the ability to press our limits with regards to exploration and discovery. I think it's been a privilege of being a part of that, and it's something that I'm going to miss. But, you know, I've been up here for a long time, and I also look forward to going home.
There's some terrific science here. Obviously, you and your brother Mark are being compared to see how the experiences have changed you. But walk us through very quickly some of the more profound physical changes that you know are going to occur as a result of you being in space so long.
You know, I suspect I'll have some bone loss, probably more than I had last time, although we have exercise that mitigates that. You know, the biggest unknown out there is the effect of the radiation environment and, you know, what that effect has long term. And that's something, you know, maybe we'll know. Hopefully I'll never find out what the true effects are of that. But of all the concerns, that's my biggest concern. And it's something that, you know, when we go to Mars, we're going to have to really tackle, because that's an even greater radiation environment. So hopefully with my brother and I in this comparative study, we'll be able to learn some more about that and areas we need to investigate further.
Talk to me about the mental and psychological impact of being up there. You look out the window, you see the world pass by, you see familiar sights. What does that do to you to watch that?
You know, you definitely have a different perspective on the Earth and things that happen down there. I'm actually looking at it right now. The window's open, and you know, you do get a sense that you and your crewmates are here, and everyone else is down there. And at least for me, it makes me a little bit more empathetic to, you know, the stuff that goes on down there. I follow the news very closely, have it on during the workday and in the evenings as we, you know, float through Node 1 there, and I, you know, glance at it. So I keep probably more in touch with what's going on Earth when I'm in space than when I'm actually on Earth. And you definitely have a sense of an heightened sense of empathy, and also, you know, notice the you know, the effects of our presence on the planet, and it makes you somewhat, if you weren't already, a environmentalist, and you know, definitely a feeling that we needed to take care of it.
Before we let you go, we enjoyed the video of the gorilla suit the other day. You want to explain how that came about?
Well, you know, it was my brother's idea. I have to give him credit, but I warmed up to the idea because if you're going to talk to kids about science and engineering and math, those things that are very, very important to us, to our country, you need to first get their attention. And nothing will get kids' attention, I think, better than a gorilla in space.
All right, in the final seconds we have, what do you miss most? What are you most looking forward to when you get back on terra firma?
Yeah, human contact. The people you love on Earth, your family, your friends, people you.
All right. Well, Scott, it's been fun checking in with you during your journey here, and we look forward to greeting you back on Earth. Safe travels to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lester.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox, and NBC. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.